last time I was out here, I had used some stuff as a scent on the baits that I was using to see if I couldn't entice some fish to hit, and it seemed to be working fairly well. So I decided to double check the name this time so I could at least tell you what it is. It's called Smelly Jelly Sticky Liquid. This particular flavor is called Salmon Feast, and it says with roe. So I think it's using salmon roe as part of the process. We'll try to get that on camera so that you can at least get a look at the title. Anyway, I'm back out here. I was out here 3 or 4 days ago and caught 7 fish. I'm out at the absolute, in my mind, worst part of the day. It's again almost bluebird sky. There's a few clouds, but they're wispy, so they don't really accomplish much. The wind is not negligible. I mean, there's literally no wind. I'm sitting here at 86 feet of water. I think I have to move out a little bit, so I'm going to do that momentarily, but because I had seen some fish at about 90, 91 feet, so I think I'm going to try to get back to that level. And it is the 26th of September today, and we're on Cayuga Lake, and so we're going to see what's going to happen. I'm using the same bait that I was using the last time I was out. The only issue I have with this is that the last trout that I caught the other day bent the hook. So I'm going to try and bend it back to see if I can't save the jig so I don't have to retie the jig. Looks like it worked. And we'll see if we can't put this back on. And I am going to dig out my bag of scent. Yeah, okay, that's it. Let's see if that's still at all effective. Time will tell. I put it in a little plastic bag with a number of baits and put a number of drops in so that I don't have to put it on individually. I don't have to dip my fingers in. So we'll drop this down. I didn't move. We're still at 86 feet of water, so we'll see what's going on here. And you'll see me occasionally looking to my left. It's because I'm kind of keeping an eye on my fish finder to make sure that the bait that I'm dropping is showing up. And this jigging up that I'm doing is to get the line to release. The last fish I caught, spider wire, or rather this happens to be a Power Pro. Power Pro tends to wind in on itself when there's a lot of pressure on it, which that last fish put on it. So it's kind of wound tightly and doesn't like to come off, so I'm just trying to ensure that it'll come off. So we're on the bottom, and again, reminding you all, the trick is something that's sort of counterintuitive to me, because I've always, whenever I've jigged, I've actually jigged a jig. In this case, you just drop it to the bottom and reel it back up. That's all there is to it. It's pretty simple. I sometimes vary the speed at which I bring it up. I sometimes, when I say vary it, I mean I might go slow and then I might do 2 or 3 turns a little faster and then drop back. because sometimes that change in speed can have an effect. If a fish happens to be following it and decides not to hit it, that sudden change in speed could elicit a reaction from them. So once in a while, I like to change it up a little bit. I'm afraid my glasses cam is on the way out. I'm not sure that it's working effectively. But we'll see. So I had a couple of fish. Ooh, I was just about to say I had a couple of fish down there that saw that. When it got down to the bottom, I could see them come up and take a look at it, and one of them apparently decided he's going to hit it. So hopefully my glasses camera won't die before I get him up. He's clearly a lake trout because he really wants to stay right down on the bottom. And I had used the black and blue jig last time I was out quite successfully, and that is the same color I have on right now. And he's coming up. He just let off some air. As you can see, the bubbles coming up that he blew off as he was coming up, releasing air from his bladder. And he's a pretty decent fish. Unfortunately, I made the mistake of leaving my net on the back of the boat. So I'm going to have to see if I can't keep him on while I get hold of the net. In a case of, okay, if you're not prepared, this is what happens. A big fish. I'm going to bring this back so you can get a look at it. He's a stockfish. He's missing that left front fin. And he's a solid 29 inches. Nice fish. And there he goes. So, for those of you who wonder about my tossing the fish in that way, I learned that from a guide here on the lake. It said it tends to give them a head start in terms of getting down, and hopefully it does. He blew off quite a bit of air coming up, so he should be fine. Since I had trouble with my audio before, I decided to start my iPhone in my pocket on voice memo to see if I can get the audio back. I need to adjust this camera because I bumped it pretty good. Still recording, but so and because I had scented that one up, and that was my first drop incidentally, I'm gonna scent this up again since that new bait has no scent on it. And, or no, that was not my first drop, it was my second drop, sorry. I'm gonna drop it down, and this one's a 1 ounce jig, whereas the other one was 3/4 of an ounce. I don't know whether it'll make a difference or not, but it certainly makes a difference in terms of the speed at which it drops. It drops quite dramatically faster. So it's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 2/3 of the time to get to the bottom. There was one, oh, made the mistake of kind of setting the hook. That was a fish. We'll try it again without resetting it. And we'll let this fall. I can see it heading down towards the bottom. Interesting, there's a fish coming right up for it. So I'm going to stop it and start it back up, and there he is. This is like shocking. This one might be a little smaller than that one. He's not working so hard at staying down. He's also letting off some air, but not letting off nearly as much as that last one did. And he's still a pretty good sized fish. Oh. He's really kind of a big fish. He is, wow, well, 30 and a half. He's a little bigger. And he's not a native. He's missing the, we'll bring him back. He's letting off more air as I'm holding him. He's a nice fish, but he isn't a native. He's missing the little fin on the back. I can't remember what it's called right off the top of my head. We'll toss him back. Okay, so that's 4 drops and 2 fish. Go figure. We'll set this up again just to see if that makes a difference. We'll send this down and we'll try again. 2 fish, 4 drops. Find that pretty interesting. A lot of times I've found that the very first drop on a spot doesn't get a reaction because the fish didn't come over to take a look or whatever. And they may come this time around as it goes down for the second time. I made the mistake on that first hit that I had of involuntarily setting the hook. It's having spent years of my life trying to perfect the ability to set the hook at the appropriate time to then start doing a type of fishing that requires you not to set the hook has its own challenges. Another one hanging out there at he's and there he is. He followed it up quite a ways before he hit, or he was either that or he was not deep when he hit. he could have been suspended. But again, it's like, okay, I changed colors, and now there's suddenly fish visible. And he's blowing off a lot of air. Also, quite a big fish. This is like, really? So this one, wow, this one is just about 31. Ooh. Well, that was a hit. That was a slam. He really hit it hard. I mean, he just, sometimes, boy, when a Laker hits, they make it evident. This one's a much smaller one. Much smaller. Oh. Nope. Thought maybe I'd get him, but nope. Couldn't get a measurement on him, but that's okay. And we still have a big school of bait fish underneath us. In fact, it's so thick that that screen suddenly is measuring from the top of the bait ball. It is so thick that the fish finder thought that the top of the bait ball was the bottom. So we'll take a look. There are fish underneath us here too. Yep, there are fish underneath us here too. That one came up quite a ways. Whoa, okay. I was about to say he must be smaller because he's not fighting quite so aggressively, and then all of a sudden he doesn't want to be up and he's trying to get back down, so he's pulling down pretty good. Whoa. Oh yeah, he does not want to come up. It's funny, it's hard to tell how big they are until you get them right up to the surface. Although sometimes you can tell if they're clearly smaller. He's not a small one though. Saw the net and not liking it. Saw the net and not liking it. a little smaller, 27 inches, and his left rear fin, ventral fin is gone. And there he heads off. I was talking to my friend Don Meisner this morning. He was getting ready to do one of his radio shows, or actually a series of radio shows. He does about 6 or 7 of them at a time, and asking me some questions and looking for information, things that he could talk about. And so he was asking me about this kind of fishing and asked me about the speed of the reel. And I've kind of learned, in terms of the speed at which I'm going to bring it up, guess what? To try and bring it up, if it's a 1 ounce jig, I try to bring it up at the same speed that the jig fell. Oh, this is a big fish. He's just trying to stay right on that bottom. He doesn't want to come up at all. He's a long way down. If I use a 3/4 ounce jig, I try to bring it up at the same speed I bring up the 1 ounce jig, and I can tell based on the angle of my bait on the screen whether I'm at the right speed or not. He's finally coming up, but he's reluctant, let's say, which I guess I can't blame him. So this is that chartreuse tail. Yes, about time to stand up here. These should become visible any second. He lets off air. Still a pretty good sized fish. And he let go. Somehow I felt that might happen, but I did check that hook. It's okay. We'll drop her down again and see what happens. You can see the commotion that fish made on his way up at the screen. You can see, if you look at the screen, you'll see all of the discoloration that almost looks like bayfish, and that's just from the turbulence caused by that fish in the water. There is one on the bottom right now. He rose up just enough to leave a little bit of a signal and then settled back down again. Ooh, he came up fast and decided not to hit. If I'd have realized he was coming up when he came up, I might have been able to, I might have started reeling just a little bit sooner. You know what? Let's respice this bait. I think I may not only respice it, but may add some fresh scent to that bag. Okay. Okay, so that's the first drop after freshly rescinding the bait. So it'll be interesting to see. There is a fish down there. I can see that he rose up a little bit a while back, so he's likely still right there. He's just hugging the bottom, and he's coming up. So we'll see if this bait leaves enough of a trail, and it did. How about that? Okay, so it causes me to suspect that scent does have an impact on him. Coming up a little quicker. He's a little bit smaller fish. could almost lift him out, but he decided he wanted to go, and he's let off a bunch of air. He's 21 and a half, and he's whoa, right rear fin missing. He had a lot of energy. He was gone in a hurry. Okay, so I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to retie equipment, which you don't need to watch, and we'll hope to get some more video that we can post for you in the not too distant future. Thanks. Thanks for watching.